Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is Wednesday. It is the club call. This is a chance for you people to get in touch with us on the line. The link is at the top of the Toffee TV Premier. Do that. So give us a call. Give us a call. Lots. Well, I mean, it's not actually. It's calmed down a lot, hasn't it? This week it's been quite quiet, but there's lots going on. Arsenal at the weekend, the Merseyside derby. The signings that came in the back end of last week. Just get it. Let us. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Is there positivity? Is it still out there? Are we positive going into the game on Sunday against Arsenal? Let us know. Even like other things, whatever you want to talk about. Thomas Tuchel's hairline. Do you know what I mean? Graham Potter's beard. These are things that we can discuss. The new offside technology that was debuted last night in the Champions League. Let us know your thoughts on that. Anything, to be honest, anything. Rondon possibly going to Turkey. The weather, the thunder and lightning that you can hear behind you.
The way you love me, it's frightening.
The new podcast, 1878 FM, featuring Andy Bush and Dave Vitti.
Very good. Check that out.
Check that out after this show, of course.
Yeah,
check that
obviously.
out. It's a new weekly podcast for you. Coming at you like
Cleopatra.
Exactly. So there you go.
Just there, we've got all the music, 80s music references.
That's not 80s, that was 90s.
90s, wasn't it?
It was 90s.
Just a quick one on
Yeah.
on the Tuchel thing.
Yeah.
Do you think Anthony Gordon's thinking, glad that didn't happen right now at this time? Because obviously he may have moved last week and then Tuchel's gone, and all of a sudden in a little bit of limbo.
Maybe, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, whether don't know his exact feelings on what happened. I'm sure there are mixed feelings from him. But yeah, you would think that. I mean, penny for Aubameyang's thoughts. But the footballers aren't they? They understand.
Well, Aubameyang has loads of experience. He's at the other end of his career. But Anthony Gordon's only known one thing for so long, and then it might have happened, and he'd be like, new man.
One thing for so long, although he has played for Carlo Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez.
And Duncan Ferguson as well,
Duncan
of course.
Ferguson
and
Frank. So,
but all in this environment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Moving to London and that.
I imagine, you might think that's a bullet dodged, and you just got to get on with it. I mean, you get for him, any player just got to get your head down. I mean, thinking the other way, Conor Gallagher's probably made up.
Possibly, yeah.
And then
especially if they get Potter. Potter likes young players, doesn't he? They get
Billy Gilmore will be fuming, I know that.
He will be, won't he?
Billy Gilmore will be fuming.
Potter like, I've got these plans for you at Brighton because I'm going to Chelsea.
Yeah. Interesting.
A bit mad.
It is. It's interesting.
Surely that isn't the extreme Potter's gone to because he just doesn't want to entertain Billy Gilmore.
What about
bring him to Brighton and go to Chelsea this week?
Mate, is that why he sold Cucurella?
Got to think, haven't you?
Got to think long term, haven't you?
Want to use him? Got
to think long term. Very, very interesting. But yeah, the way we watched a bit of it last night.
Have we frozen? No. We have on my laptop. That's all. No.
It's probably because
that's okay. I'm just
the weather is
berserk,
like, so if there are little intermittent issues, it's because of the weather. It is gone full Queen, like gone full mad. Bohemian Rhapsody.
It has, yeah. Mathew Bush said Thor's having fights in the sky.
Yeah, it's boss.
He said.
It's boss like.
And I love this from the Mathew Bush as well. Hope we can finish off Dyer Pep on Sunday. They won't do anything with him in charge. Too tactically inept. Don't know. Dyer Pep though. Up the Toffee says John El Shawawi. Have a look at our Premier members. Gary Ward saying howdy as always, number one.
Why?
Gaz says Gareth Hughes. I have a query about the automated offsides for you.
Go on.
Does anybody
like I am the expert?
No.
Go on.
But you've listened to read a lot.
Championed it.
Well, it's good, but I'm just saying.
Go on.
He has a query. Does anybody know what would happen in a case where a player is miles off but judged as not interfering? Best example was Morales' goal against United a few years ago when Lukaku was miles offside. United defender stopped and Morales run through from an onside position and scored. Under the new system, would this automatically be flagged as a buzzer would go off against
no, because, and this is why it is semi-automated. It's not fully automated. The VAR would flag that, I imagine, but then the people in the VAR room would determine whether it was first phase or second phase.
Right, yeah.
I'd imagine. Although this thing works at 500 times a second or something silly like that, so it must have it already programmed into it, phases. It doesn't just like point a laser at someone and go, you're in offside position.
Yeah.
It obviously must know. It must reset itself all the time, like every set. It must be. And the one last night was obviously dead easy. And of course, what we've said in the last couple of days is what's good about this is all going to play out in the Champions League and the World Cup, so it's not going to affect us. We're going to see all the good things and the bad things about it, and hopefully there's not bad things.
Yeah.
But the ones we saw last night, I think we saw one in the Chelsea game where he was offside and you could see that it marks it. It puts that like invisible curtain down and shows. It's a bit like that game Portal, isn't it? You can see the body parts sticking out of like the screen.
Yeah.
And last night the one in the Dortmund game, I think it was, you could see the opposition's knee sticking out, and even though the arm of the Dortmund player was like through the curtain as well, it knew. And then the ref checked. It was checked, and I think it took 57 seconds to check from the start of it to basically the start to the end.
Yeah.
And there you have it. I mean, and I'm sure that time will come down. We hope that time will come down, and that's because it's automated. That it's semi-automated. It doesn't. You forget that the time it takes with these offsides is getting the lines exactly where they need to be.
Yeah.
It is determining when the ball is played. Now all that is being done. That's where the semi-automated part is. It's that last little bit that's going to say to the guys in the VAR room, this is offside, check my own work. And that's their job then, to just check the own work at the end. But I think the big problem with the VAR we have in this country is that bit in the middle. When did the ball leave the foot? Where was the fella? Now I have to draw the line. For the first couple of seconds, you've got to work out when the ball was played, and for that must be like a minute or so. This takes all that out, and I've seen people were saying to me on Twitter and stuff about, well, how does the camera know where he is, and how does it's not about that straight line. It's about where the players are on the pitch, and then listen, we're watching a test in real time. I know that it will have already been tested. You've got to have confidence in the system that the first place they're using it is in the Champions League, the darling of world football. You've got to have confidence in that kind of system.
And the next thing is the biggest.
The World Cup.
World shirt's the biggest thing in football, in my opinion. The World Cup.
Well, yeah, of course.
Simply is.
So we'll see. Also, like last night, I was looking for highlights of the game, and I watched some highlights, and I watched a little bit of bits. I watched the goal show on BT, which I think is just the best thing on telly. I was watching that, and I was trying to see if they'd show examples of it, but I found a couple of bits online, and they were the only ones. But it looks like it works to me. So hopefully it does. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Che Guevara says chances of Anthony Barry coming in now improved after Tuchel going. Do you think?
It depends, doesn't it? Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen because this is a whole new era at Chelsea. The last regime had a tendency to sack managers but not backroom staff, so the backroom staff stayed in place at Chelsea for a long time. Read Carlo's book, and Carlos, like, when he came in, Abramovich said to him, well, you've got a month. He said, you can have a month. I'd like you to keep these for a month, and after a month, if you don't like them, we'll go and get the people you liked. And after a month, he said, I was perfectly happy with the people. In fact, I think he promoted Clement, didn't he? Yeah. So they don't want I don't think they want a situation where they're changing all the staff, but maybe because it is a changing of the guard. That maybe. But then Anthony Barry, it's not just a case of us after him. A lot of people think he's massively highly rated. I know someone I spoke to in the football world actually offered them the job of the manager of the club he's in charge of in League One then, or League Two. They offered him the job and he said no because he's got lofty ambitions. So, and he's been linked with the Bournemouth job.
Yeah, he wanted to come to Everton, but Tuchel wouldn't let him out. Whether that's just to keep his education.
But he has got
But yeah,
he has got a lot of possibility because he's a massively highly
36,
rated
isn't he, or something, or
coach.
30, yeah.
Massively highly rated.
So we'll see. Neil says, Baz, I hate to put a dampener on things, but we're still banging trouble. Tough fixtures to come. Okay, Neil. I mean, I disagree because I don't think you can be in trouble after 6 games in the Premier League. And when I look at other teams like a Bournemouth are in trouble and they're 3 points ahead of Everton because they will struggle to stay up. I don't think Everton will be in any danger of going down. Really don't. If this was March and we were where we are and struggling, I'd probably be inclined to agree with you, Neil.
If we had 4 points in March, I'd be worried.
Well, that's what I mean. So I don't think I personally, I'm not looking at it like this. I'm not even looking at anything like this because league tables mean nothing. We've proved it when Carlo won every game and then we still couldn't finish in Europe, and last season we were top of the league after 4 games and we could have gone second when we played West Ham in October and we lost and we ended up not winning for months and months and months. So I just personally, I'm just going to take each bit how it comes. I think we get too, I've done it as well, you definitely do it at times, get too hung up. You weren't so bad, but in the past get hung up on the league and where it is and what games are being played and what's just go along with it and see where we are, because
game by game
we're trying to, the manager and the coaching staff are trying to put something in place that's going to build and develop. You should, everybody. I know we didn't get the forward, and I fully accept that, and I was fuming on, well, I wasn't fuming, but I was very disappointed deadline day that we didn't bring another one in. But you've heard the manager speaking, haven't you? You've heard the manager talking about it and going, look, we cope with this and we've got it that way and we'll do it this way. So let's see how we go. Let's see how we go, and from then we'll we go from there, won't we? And we'll see. DC says, "Hi lads, with no wins this season, how many wins would Lampard need out the next 6 fixtures?" Again, that for me is just, I know people will look at it in their own way. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm not going, he needs to win 3 out the next 6 or that. Just see how it goes. Let it develop, let it play out. Peter says, what do you guys think about the Wrexham document? I still haven't watched it.
It's good. It's good.
I'm fine with that. It's a lot more interested than the Arsenal one.
Yeah,
I watch one.
No, it's good because it does focus a lot on the fans. It has 2 sides of it. It focuses on them too, but it also focuses on the locals and as they're going through it, and it shows the players and the reality of the situation and the reality of Wrexham. And it's very smart because they obviously started filming it before they even bought the club. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they put people in. They put people in Wrexham. They got actually a guy who writes for one of Rob McElhenney's shows, because he's an English guy. He's been in a couple of episodes of the show on Apple, which is really good, by the way.
What's it called?
I can't actually think of it off my head because I've got COVID brain. It's like it's based on like a gaming company. It's called something like the Mighty something. He's in that. It's like that's his other thing. Obviously, he does. It's only he does Philadelphia. It's always sunny in Philadelphia, so he does that as well. But he does this other. What's it called? Someone will put it in the comments. It's like the Mighty something. Or anyway, he's got a little part in that. But he sent him over to be like, even though he's a writer, a TV writer, he was like, well, you're English, you know football, go and be our coordinator. So he's over there and he's obviously helping with all the filming. But it's good because it gives you both sides of things, and it gives you them going, like, being in LA and being like stressed and being like, why isn't this getting better? Or because it's obviously early on, why isn't this fella that we've paid a lot of money for, the striker, scoring more goals? Why, there's an episode where they pay him money for the pitch and then find basically the pitch is basically dead. The roots haven't grown long enough, and they're going to have to relay the whole thing. It's going to cost them £100,000. Suddenly, they understand how difficult, how much money you have to put into football and all kinds. So no, it really enjoy. It is slick because of course it's slick. It's Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney and all. They've got the best people out there to do it. It's very, very slick, but it also, you see the human side of it as well.
Good. I'm not what's it. Gaz says, responding to Phil last night, don't worry about going the premiere night on your own. I went on my own and was made more than welcome. I'm going along next time, and you're more than welcome to sit with me, pal. Nice one, Gaz. Top man. Danny says, we will beat Arsenal. We are due a win with a solid performance, and they love to crumble after the defeat. Hope you're right, Dan. Martin Kitney says, the new podcast is great. Thank you very much, Martin. Brad says...
Hang on, sorry. Is a first. Is a first. A Premier League game has been cancelled because of the railway strikes. Palace versus Brighton has been postponed due to the planned industrial action on the rail network. That's a first. Yeah. That's a first. People actually thinking about the fans for once.
Interesting. Brad says, cheers lads, I won't try calling in today because I'm in a worse spot now than I was as far as my connection is concerned, doing the exact same thing in a tractor. But if I did call in, I would say this. I'm going to try and reiterate my point that I tried to make to you in Minnesota. Now that Tuchel's been sacked, part of his success came because his backroom staff, which is Frank's staff and is now ours, left Chelsea last January. Ooh. They've been on a downward slide since. Quite possible. I mean, listen, those staff obviously were very ingrained in Chelsea, weren't they? Certainly Joe Edwards had been there for years. The fitness kid who I always forget, who Frank's at the Derby and was also at Chelsea. Paul Clement had been at Chelsea but been everywhere else, and obviously Frank Lampard there as well, and Ashley Cole. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's working, but
what we were saying
they
before,
had their own thing, didn't they?
We were on the over before on the Day Live Extra over on Toffee TV Premier. We were talking about saying Frank's points Tuchel's points at Chelsea were better before he spent money, and we should have really done this, but we were wondering what Frank's were, because in the first season obviously he had no money and done really well, and I wonder again whether it was the influx of money and people buying players that he didn't necessarily ask for, very much like Tuchel, whether it's the same, because Tuchel didn't ask for Lukaku. There's players there he wouldn't have necessarily asked for. They've been bought for him. So is it the same as Frank? Did Frank come in and worked with what he had, promoted the Reece Jameses, the Mason Mounts of the world into the first team,
Tammy Abraham
done really well. It was only when the money was spent then things started. The pressure then put on because you've spent money. So there's your pressure. Last season no pressure but who bought those players? And it might be the same with Tuchel. Tuchel comes in, takes over a team, wins the Champions League, not his players.
Yeah.
Didn't pay for it, used what he had, and then suddenly there's an influx of money and you get Lukaku and people like that. He doesn't do as well, and then this summer they don't get the players they want. Different people in charge, of course. Good old Ted Bowley, and again that pressure's on because money brings pressure. But if you're not spending the money, that's a weird pressure, isn't it? It's like, I didn't ask for this player, I didn't ask for Lukaku, you bought Lukaku, not me. So that's I do find that an interesting part of it.
No, it is. It's, did he was he better just working with what he had and coaching him?
I've just had an email about Christmas.
September. You're gonna get it. Or was it a case of with that him not getting the time long enough to gel with, I guess, with what else he was working with. The year before, with no transfer policy for Lampard, he incorporated Mason Mount, people like that, and then obviously brought in Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, people like that in the summer. Under his, not him obviously because Chelsea don't work like that, but under his guys. But then he didn't give him the chance to work with him. So
what is interesting is, though, just about that situation is no one seems to be crying many tears for Tuchel going though at Chelsea. So
fans or whatever, yeah.
No one seems to be broken hearted by it. So
that's fair enough. It's fair enough, isn't it?
Don't forget the link is there. Get your calls in.
You've
Come
got
on.
A point to
so
make.
Much better when the calls are in. So much better.
Talking about VAR there, that's gone. Hackon's fuming with the likes. Get the likes up, says Hackon.
There you go.
Fair play, mate. fair play. Also, if you haven't subbed, please do, because we are 45 subs off 63,000.
Oh,
so thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It'd be nice if we could go over that during the show.
It would. Steve Hardy says, looking forward to watching the new podcast tomorrow around the pool. Just about to go out. What do you guys think about Costa signing for Wolves?
He's not, though.
He's not, because he didn't get a work permit. I think it could work for him. Part of me wishes we were getting him, although I know he doesn't fit in with the new way of doing things. But he hasn't getting a work permit, Steve. So unless there's an appeal, and I haven't seen anything today suggesting there is, he won't be getting it. So they'll have to look elsewhere, I think. Gray Lead says it's blatant cheating and utterly disgusting, the treatment of the
he's got a work permit.
Has he got
He's
it?
just got it, yeah.
Right, okay, so there you go. Nice one, Steve. You're
been
ahead of
granted
us.
his work permit for the proposed move.
There you go. Went through appeal and got it. Fair play. Listen,
Literally,
he's obviously a very disruptive character. It's been said about him for the last few years. But if they get him, he's 33. He's not really been very good for about 4 years now. But they haven't really got. They've lost the other kid with an ACL, haven't they? The fella Kaladzic. Yeah. Which when we were linked with him, the Piv did say I'd leave him. He's had injuries, and obviously it's proven. So they needed someone. So I don't know. We might do all right for them. We'll see. But yeah, blatant cheating, utterly disgusting. The treatment the other 14 teams get in the league, treated by VAR and refereeing decisions. Hopefully this gets sorted, as it can't go on. AI will help. We nearly got relegated last season with these refereeing decisions being a contributing factor, let alone being thoroughly garbage on the pitch. Time for a change.
Who has been stepped down this weekend?
Lee Mason.
Lee Mason been stepped down for what happened at the Newcastle game, the VAR.
Lee Mason, who disallowed Amari Gray's goal at Leeds, which was onside, obviously.
So, but he'll be on the next game, and that's what makes a joke of it. It's like, it's not a punishment. It's more like, just stay out of the way this week.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Keep your head down for this week, and you'll be back next week.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's the same people every week causing the trouble, and that's what needs to be dealt with. Bring a completely fresh setting.
Yeah, absolutely. What can you do? Until for me that's changed and they bring in an independent company, then I don't know how that gets better, because they're all mates, aren't they? Soph says, I see Chelsea have got the American machinery. If we had a Mopai when we played them, we'd have won. We need to remain patient. The wins will come. Yeah, the wins will come. Mystic Quest.
Mystic Quest, that's what it's called, yeah.
Thank you to Basic Trig.
It is very good, that show.
Thank you to TJ Sadler as well.
It is a very good show. And they do sneak in little Wrexham things in it as well, which is funny.
Okay, we'll have a little look at that. Barty says, I hope Chelsea don't come after Super Frank. I think them days are gone. For now, anyway. Harry Matson says, is there any likelihood Andros Townsend will be fit to play before the World Cup break? Well,
no.
There's a lot of rumours today that he's going to move to Trabzonspor because they want him, which is mad. I seen an interview with him 3 weeks ago, and he said he's got to make a decision whether he's back before the World Cup or whether he just leaves it the extra 6 weeks.
Well, you would leave it, wouldn't you?
I'd leave it if it was me, because he's obviously he's going to end up with 6 months or so left on his Everton contract. You want to come back and be strong if you're going to get a move to another club. You don't want to risk it.
I wouldn't come back. I just for the extra.
It's not weird, because he'd probably only be back for like 2 games before it's just not worth it, is it?
I wouldn't do that. But we rushed Balassi back, didn't we? And that he was never ever the same player. No. You know,
by the time he was getting back to being the same player, he was.
Think about it, right? If he comes back, let's say he goes to Australia, and he does a couple of bits over there, and then that's like his. If he is fit, that's like his pre-season, isn't it? That can be his pre-season. So, you know, depending on what stage he's at. So I wouldn't even dare trying to rush back. I don't see. I think at that age, with that kind of injury, I don't think you mess about. I just don't think you mess about.
No, and he's a sensible player, isn't he? Like Townsend, you know, he's got his head screwed on. You'll know. Lee Crosby says, I have confidence in Lampard and staff. Think Thelwell will be great for his development as well. And let's just see. Matthew Bush says, bang on, mate. The plans are in motion. Where Everton are concerned. Jay Brooks says Tuchel to Everton. Sick. I don't think so. You've got Frank. Gary Lee says, I'm confident things will get better. We just need that first win. Overall, the player's better. We just need a little bit of luck. Absolutely. Everton Clip says, if you're looking for an editor, DM me on Instagram. I'd love to help out the channel. Okay, we'll have a chat, mate. Eugene says, yes, Salomon Rondon in talks with Turkish clubs. Yeah, well, that's on our news today. A little story about that one. David Sullivan says, spot on, Ped. When they mess up, they don't get punished. They get a week off work. Wish I had a job like that. Che Guevara says, couldn't they have ex-pros in the VAR room?
Yeah, but they've got to...
You'd have to do the training.
They've got to do the training, haven't they? You've got to train those people up, and I fully agree. You could have them. Because I think... Because we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? The refs who are in the VAR room now are... I don't know if all of them are, but there's some who are dedicated VAR refs. They're the ones who've retired, and that's their job now. Now, I understand they have all that training, but football players, ex-football players, could easily do that training. And they've never been on a football pitch as a referee, and they don't have that baggage, and they could go in and do it.
Couldn't they be... Because you know the way they don't generally just have one referee looking at one game, one VAR ref, do they? Sure, there's a couple there looking at the VAR game, right?
Yeah.
So couldn't there be a referee, if you ex-ref, if that's what it has to be, and couldn't it be an ex-pro? And therefore, they look at the same incident. Because say like the Van Dijk thing, right, with Onana, that just take that incident just for argument's sake, right? And the referee looks at that still because he's never played the game and goes, no, that's a leg breaker just for argument. Let's say it's just he comes down on that side. And then the pro goes, let me see that again. And they look at it, and then he goes, no, because he's gone for the ball, but he's just missed time. Do you know what I mean?
How long have we got?
No, that's the problem, isn't it? The problem is that it is that hard. But then they take that time anyway.
I know, but we don't want them to take that time. We want them to... We want them... I'll be honest, right? I just think that if we get this offside sorted, take offsides completely off the linesman or the assistant referees and make them assistant referees and start telling them to keep their eyes open for what's going on the pitch. And if they see a different angle on something, they say that's the first port of call before VAR. And then what you've got then is a system that works for things that are getting too fast for. The reason we have VAR for offsides is because it's getting too fast. The reason why we got off the goal line technology is because it's too fast for the naked eye to see, and there's a couple of posts in the way. So if you take offsides off those linesmen, suddenly you've got two extra fellas who are concentrating on the fouls and what's going on. And if you if they're your first port of call on fouls and penalties and all that kind of thing, the game would be better straight away.
Yeah.
And you're going back to the human element then, and then if you really get a situation where it's like, I didn't see that, just go to the VAR. Did you see that? What was that? Or he could, like we said from the start, something happens on the pitch, and the VAR fella just goes, that was a pen, that, you know. Right, okay.
Don't look at it.
I'll go and check it myself. And he goes over and checks it, and not even that's a pen. Go, I think you want to check that. I think you might want to check that. Go over and check it. Was it handball or it was a penalty for the lad slid in and he was on the other side? Something that a ref couldn't have seen sometimes. It's not always humanly possible.
Do you think the VAR person should be speaking to the referee as he's looking at the monitor though, going,
no?
Do you think he just says, just go and have a look?
Just go and look at it.
At these images and see if you think anything's occurred.
Yeah, just go. Yeah,
and then he doesn't speak to him again.
Don't give him the thing of like, I think that's a penalty and you've made your mind up. Just go. You might. I know that sounds like you are saying it anyway, but just go. You might just want to check that. Just go and check it. I think you'll be, whatever. Just have a certain set of have language. Have a script, as in like there's only a certain phrase you can say.
Because I think what happens is, and I keep bringing this one up, right? Because it was below me in the Spurs game, and I could see the referee didn't want to change his mind with the Richarlison penalty last season, and he was clearly being told by the VAR official that wasn't a penalty. He was looking at it and shaking his head as if like, no, it's I'm not changing me. And
so why did he
looked down, shook his head, and then walked away from the monitor?
But this is what we've got to get away from. It should be the refs. The final decision should always be the referees, always. But then what we saw in the Newcastle game is the VAR person not showing him the correct, and this is the correct angle, and this is where we need to hear those conversations where the referee says, show me camera 1, show me camera 2, show me camera 3. No, yeah mate, here's the video.
Yeah,
I want to see. Now what's apparently being said is Lee Mason apparently didn't realise there'd been a push, right?
How?
No, I know. Because he's looking at this one angle. What he's sending the line. So go back to our game against Villa, right? So think of it like that. Something happens and the ref says, and you say, the VAR says you want to look at this, right? Okay. And he's not even telling him what he wants to look at. He's saying, you probably want to have a little look at that. Go over, and he goes, and he sees the fella hit him. Like, that's what Mason's seen. But he hasn't seen the push. So what he's doing is, he's basically showing the referee a reason why to disallow it. And he's basically already predetermined that what's going to happen next. So what the ref's got to do is almost walk into it cold and clean and go, right, show me angle 1, this angle. Show me angle 2. Show me angle 3. At angle 3, he gets pushed. That's why he hits him. And then you can make you can get that whole thing. So you watch the Spanish football where they do that thing where they like almost go round in a circle. That's basically what they should have. Something that gives you a 360 view of what's happened. Now that mightn't be done quick enough, but it certainly does on the TV. So why not have a system like that where the ref just walks over and he's not being told what's happened, but he looks at himself and goes, right, 1, okay, he's hit the goalie, but I'm not making my mind up on that. 2, right, that's that way. Oh, hang on. 3, the flip side. Oh, he's pushed him there. It's a goal. From that side, it looked fine, and that's the one Lee Mason. That's the problem. So take that back to the Villa game, right?
Yeah.
He looks at the offside goal and goes, oh, it's offside.
Yeah.
But not once does his eye straight at one of our players being pulled.
Luca Dean Cody, yeah.
You know, and not one time does on the late one where does he look at Mason Holgate getting kicked when he goes to volley it, because they've already been told what they think the issue is. They need to open up and go. Yeah. Well, there might be another reason for that.
That's the thing. Oh, cute, this lot. Thought he was coming here. That's the thing that I don't like. I don't like the fact that they can be influenced about what they're about to see. Ped, go and look at the screen because there's a penalty there. It's a blatant penalty, or it's a foul. It's not a goal, not a goal. So you go over looking to see where it isn't a goal, rather than just go and have a look at this incident and see what you think, and that's it. And he walks over and they just show him the pictures and he goes, yeah, it's a penalty, or it's not a penalty. Oh, okay, whatever. And what else I think is bizarre is the VAR pictures are there, and yet TV pictures show everything.
But that comes down to the fella who's there, isn't it? The fella who's there, and it was Lee Mason on this one, has not took the time to look at what's going on. He's not looked at what's going on, and I think that's the issue with this, and that's been the issue on other occasions where the VAR has looked at a reason why to disallow something and hasn't looked at the whole picture. He hasn't looked at every other thing that's going on, what can cause that. And that's because these referees are just being given a black and white decision when it's not always a black and white decision. Yeah. And that's the problem. Ned, did you say we've got a caller?
Yeah.
Who is it? Pat.
Is it not on the screen there?
No, because we've got the footy on.
Oh, yeah.
So you need to like wave when there's a caller.
Or just message me on my phone.
Oh,
yeah.
I know now.
Okay.
Okay, Pat, have we got Pat?
Yeah.
Go on, Pat.
Hey, lads.
Hello, Pat.
So yeah, I'm an American Toffee. Just found Toffee TV. Love it.
Yes, brother.
It's been great. Been watching, I guess, since 09 with the Liverpool Everton replay of the FA Cup.
Dan Gosling.
Gosling, exactly. I still remember that moment. That was like me starting to come to terms and kind of being introduced, obviously, through Tim Howard and everything. But so the thing I wanted to talk about is there seems to be a little bit of bad talk, like you were saying before earlier in the topic yesterday, that people are kind of bad mouthing Frank. He doesn't know tactics. He's just a man manager. He's just a rah guy. But like, I don't know. There is always something to be said, even if his tactics aren't going to be like he's not Pep or something like that, or he's never going to be Cruyff or something. Sure, fine. But so there's you don't have to know anything about American football, but the Chicago Bears had a coach named Lovie Smith who did a similar thing. He was with the Bears for I think about 8 or 9 seasons, took them to a Super Bowl, did great things because everyone would run through a wall for him. I listened to the Men in Blazers podcast with Anthony Gordon and Tim Howard was on, and DCL and Pickford, and they love the guy. There's something to be said for that, and I don't think, as long as his tactics aren't abysmal or bad, he's going to get more out of people than I think a lot of other managers will.
Yeah, there's definitely, obviously, if players, I mean, this we're funny because we're just talking about Tuchel, and the word is that the players at Chelsea didn't like Tuchel, and there was something more going on with them, and they did. I mean, there's the phrase "losing the dressing room," isn't there? And so it is, of course, the other way around. If players love the manager and sense that he's taking their careers in the right direction, and you've got the likes of Iwobi and people like that who are benefiting from him, and then people are being brought in, and we keep on here. We've heard all summer, Frank got on the phone to them, and he's the one who convinced that player to come to Everton rather than go somebody else. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. That's a huge part of it. It's in this like sort of modern era of like analytics and stats and all these like extra things. People forget that football comes down to lads running round and giving absolutely everything, and if they don't give everything, then all those analytics and all that other stuff and all the tactics and all the stuff you've planned for all week goes out the window. I think Dele Alli's a case in point in that. That's a lad who clearly wasn't prepared to put himself on the line for the Everton team, and that's why he never played, and that's why he's been shipped to Turkey. And we don't want those players. We want people running through brick, because you do get the likes of Iwobi who can completely turn his career around by finding someone that understands him as a player and then gives the manager everything. And I think we're seeing the rewards of that. And if everyone buys into something, you can achieve big things. I think Leicester, when they won the league, that was the big thing for them. Every single player bought into it, and they ended up with getting the ultimate prize in English football. And that's the difference. And we're not talking about buying in and we're going to win the league or anything, but if everyone buys in and believes that Frank Lampard's going to take their careers to the next level and Everton to that next level, then that's a really important thing, because the fans understand that as well. The fans sense that, and I think a lot of most Everton fans do sense that, is that the players are into it, the fans love it, and when you hear things like, we've got a difficult next few games, we have, but I'd rather be facing those games with knowing that there's an Everton team that are going to give absolutely everything than an Everton team last season that I, at times, absolutely despised, because it was just full of weak characters who weren't prepared to run that extra mile for the team and for the fans. So it's hugely important.
Yeah, and I think we're reaching the point where if Frank can't get something out of you, it's kind of like with Dele. It's a lost cause. If you can't be inspired by a guy like that, who also is probably one of the best midfielders ever to play the game, then it's a lost cause for you. You might as well just get going and go to Turkey, go to Qatar and play or something. It's not going to work out here. And I felt a little bit sad that I fell off, my fandom after Martinez, however you want to pronounce it, left. Just because, I don't know, like, that was sort of like the losing Moyes and then having, some nice runs in that, 2013 to 2016 seasons felt good. And then I just kind of fell off from it. I don't know why, but yeah, it's been great talking to you guys. Up the Toffees, and let's go get a win in Arsenal.
Good man, Pat.
Cheers, Pat. Thanks a lot, mate. See you now.
Great call from Pat there. There you go. It's all about Frank, innit? It's true, right though, innit? Like, you're going to get your manager is got to be the person who gets those extra little bits, isn't it? And we can all sit here and go, don't understand why he's not playing Delhi today, or he's not playing this player. But if he watches him in training and goes, that lad there's running through a brick wall for me, and you're just swanning round, and which is what we were basically told by Mourinho anyway in that documentary. It's why Mourinho binned him at Tottenham, because he wasn't prepared to have him a fella ambling around the pitch. You know, you've got all the talents, and we said, and he said, you know, you're 20 now, but you're 54. You'll be 54 like me soon. You know, goes like that. It's important, isn't it? And you know, that's what you want. You want players running around and doing all the hard work for you.
Well, if everyone else in your team's doing it, then you can't carry people.
No.
You know, your form mightn't be there. You mightn't play well every game. That's just football. You know, we often think footballers are like robots. They step onto the pitch, they should be perfect every time. And what you've got to remember is there's someone on the opposite side trying to stop you being good. So sometimes you won't perform. That happens. But what you can't do is not work your bollocks off and not work for the team. And someone like Delhi, for all the talent he's got, and he still has got, the talent hasn't disappeared.
No.
But did he really put everything into every game or every training session? They see him every day. We can sit here and go, I'd be playing Delhi, or I'd be playing him, or that, but we don't see as fans what's going on. And we often talk about this. The job isn't just the 90 minutes on a Saturday. The job is every day in training. And they see the players every day. And if you're coming in and Frank Lampard alluded to this, didn't he? He was asked about him even while he was still at Everton. He was like, he's got to train properly every day. I've told him that. And then the next minute, don't forget the build up to that Chelsea game once Dom went out was all Delhi was playing up front. Lampard even said it in his press conference. Delhi's a natural to play up there. Got to Saturday, he was sub. He went with no striker. And then Villa the week later, despite everyone going, Everton needed a focal point and Delhi's the focal point, we went to Villa with no. So we didn't get a Villa. And then Forest, he warmed up for the last 20 minutes and didn't come on. So quite clearly, something happened from... Because even if you go back to like the Kiev game, he come on at half time as a striker for Dom.
Well, it's the thing of like, especially with Dom getting injured, it's like, right, it's your time to step up now. And if they don't, then the manager's going to go, I know, because it's the other side of the game as well. It's the tactical side of the game. What we're seeing from Everton at the moment is a team where every single player has to be on it. Because tactically, they have to be. They have to get back.
We're not amazing, are we?
Exactly. They have to keep the structure of the team. If anyone falls asleep for a minute, it can leave gaps. The whole team is reliant. We've seen that a little bit when Dwight McNeil came on Saturday. He switched off for a minute. And they got the space. That's the difference. And we got a little bit lucky, with John Pickford made a save, whichever. Everyone's got to be on it. It's why at Leeds we didn't make any subs, because the manager was looking, going, I'm not risking this. These are all doing the job, and I'm not risking it.
And we sometimes will be not fuming, but as fans, you're going, oh my God, why aren't they bringing him on, or why aren't you bringing him on? Or, do you know what I mean? And because the manager come out after it and did say, listen, I didn't want to risk. Everyone was doing the job, and I didn't want to risk it. Just before we go to call, Kevin Murphy says, what's this new podcast? Podcast you're talking about, lads? The 1878 FM podcast with myself, Andy Bush and Dave Fitty. It's out now. It's on YouTube there, and it's also available on Acast and...
Yeah, it's a proper podcast. It's out as a video if you want to watch it, but it's a proper podcast. Andy will be on radio right now. We'll only be on Absolute Radio on the drive, and Dave, who used to do the breakfast show on Radio 1, he's more into his productions and the other side of it now.
Yeah, he's doing all the other side.
So it's check it out. But we've got Loz on the line.
Hello, you alright?
Are you okay, mate? Go on, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. It's just on. I've seen a few comments, mainly from fans of other teams, so I don't know why I should take notice, but I have, and I know a few of my mates have, and a few of my mates have said, back Lampard, and we're looking good, but how do we know it's not another false storm? Because how many have we had? We had, obviously, when the money came in, Koeman and Walsh, and what they did, then we had Silva and Brands, and obviously Ancelotti. We thought maybe this is the next step, but then he left. That was nothing to do with really the club or him failing. And it was just, I really don't think it is. Like I couldn't be happier at the moment, and it's mad because we haven't won a game.
Yeah.
How strange is it?
Yeah.
And I think there is a shift in fan expectation. So as it's been said a few times, you know, it was almost good. It's almost good. I know it wasn't good for everyone's heart at the time, but the fact that we almost got relegated, because it has kind of said to all the fans, look, we're not a team that are going to be in Europe in the next year or so. We're not going to be fighting for trophies. We just need to get a bit of stability. And I think also it may have even said to Mashiri, you know, that stop going for these ridiculous signings, you know, of putting people like Gomez on, however many, you know, how many grand he was on a week, or I mean, even though Rodriguez out, he was boss, to be fair, I was having back. So that's not the greatest point, but you know, so it's just big names that are just here for the paycheck. You know, we've gone, let's just get some young hungry players in, you know, unknowns like Malenko, who he's had a few, you know, I think he'll get better and better, especially, you know, if he's just playing as a left back, and not, you know, he was a bit of an unknown. Onana, you know, he was a risk by the looks of it. You know how much we paid for him, and he didn't play that many games, did he? For was it Lille?
He didn't start that many, but he was involved in like 40 games or something. But he only started in the league, I think 11 out of 33 or something. But he did get on in most. But I understand your point, yeah.
Yeah, 30 mil for that, but it looks like it's paying off, because they've obviously looked at it and gone, he's got all the attributes that can make him a top player in the Premier League. So I just really feel like it I mean, I'm hoping in 2 years I'm not, you know, going to be going, I'm an idiot, but I really don't feel like it's a false dawn. I remember under Ancelotti, I was a bit like, I don't know whether it will work or not. He's amazing, but you know, are we the type of club he'll work with? Because he's not used to managing Everton type clubs, is he?
No.
Under Silva, I was a bit like, you know, a young manager, but you know, he didn't do great at Watford. And I know you could say the same about Lampard, but there's definitely a difference, because you know, if we'd have lost if we hadn't won, you know, a game, and is it 6 now games we've played this year? Yeah. 6 under Silva. That, you know, there'd be protests, there'd be, you know, every week there'd be meltdowns, the players were getting booed off the pitch, and that isn't happening.
No.
Even after the derby, I mean, it was hard not to go, how gutting is that? You know, that was the first time we've had a go at them since, you know, if you can count the ones that were played in lockdown. We didn't have a go. We don't really have a go at them. We just pray for 90 minutes that we get a shot up. Even remember the derby, the Origi derby. We played all right, like Gomez had an amazing game, but even then it was still praying for most of the game, like, oh, please don't get a breakaway, please don't put it in, please don't, you know, give the ball to Origi on the line. And honestly, Pickford never did that. So I just think that it is. I just really hope, but I really don't think it's a false story. I just want to say how happy I am, and I hope that everyone keeps buying into what Lampard's doing and what the club's doing, because I think it's going to be a bumpy ride this season. But you know, if we can not start, you know, tearing Goodison down after not winning a game after 6, I think we'll be all right the rest of the season.
I think you make some great points, mate. To be fair, I think certainly on the reset, I think because people do like Frank Lampard, it's because he has bought into it and all of that. I think it does help to give him that little bit of time. I think people have seen it with their own eyes. I think people can tell you stuff all you want and go, oh, things are looking great and all that, but you've got to see it with your own eyes. And I said this after Chelsea, and I said it after Forest. Even though we hadn't started brilliantly, I could see already what he was trying to do, and that was strengthened after Brentford. Even though we rode our luck, we did, but we had a great chance to go through. Same again at Leeds, and the same again at Liverpool. And I think if people can just stay calm and go, something's happening, let's back it. I think we'll do. I think
you mentioned it. I think you mentioned it before about, you know, we did the Tuesday topic this week on Toffee TV Premier, and we talking about the national media, not the local media.
Yeah. Not the Athletic.
Sorry, I've been pulled up on that today by a journalist. Sorry, Paddy. The national media, about the way they look at Everton and the way they talk about Frank, whereas us as fans and obviously the local media who understand it aren't falling for that. We're not buying into that. We're not people are not going on national radio stations and going, this is a disgrace and he should be sacked that we haven't won a game. Most people are being calm, because I think before a ball was kicked in the summer, we all said progression would be seeing Everton go in a direction. Now, I know we're only 6 games into it, and after 2 games it didn't actually feel like there was a progression as such, but it does feel like with the buys and the way the team's being reshaped, that you can see the way we want to go. Well, will it be smooth sailing? No, of course it won't. It's football, and other clubs do have better players than us, and have been doing it for longer with that team. I mean, this is a team that has just come together. Coming off the back of a Merseyside derby, I mean, one outfield player started that game. That started the last derby at Goodison Park. It was an incredible turnaround, and I think we just have to. We have a major role in this as fans, don't we? Because we are the barometer from the outside. We are what people look at. If people say the fans are furious and it's not true, we can go, you're liars, and we can say that about whoever's saying it. You're liars. But if we're starting to, we know the situation at Everton. We know what we've gone through in the last 4, 5, 6 years, and how changing a manager every 5 minutes hasn't worked. If we stay
Chelsea,
if we stay calm and we don't give anyone an excuse, and we're enjoying the football, and the results aren't necessarily coming straight away, then that's the barometer people will use. And I think you will hopefully see it, a change in the results. Dom coming back, Mopai getting fitter and understanding the way we play. Everyone understanding the way we're playing, because it's such a new system to a lot of these players, and they're all new players, that it's going to take a little bit of time. But we're the barometer. These people sit and read Twitter all day and look at Everton fans, and they use the most extreme Everton view as the bar. Yeah. That's the bar they use. The most extreme is the one they go with. So if our fans can just, they will. I'm not sitting here going, it's going to be boss every week. We're amazing. Oh, it's great. But if you see players working their bollocks off for you every week, and maybe 1 or 2 are letting you down, you go, well, I can see where the issues are. It's a lot easier so far to say, I can see where the issues are, or I see where we need to improve, than like last season, when you're in the middle of like November and you're going, I can't see the wood for the trees here. There's too many problems. I can't put my finger on what the main problem is, because there's so many problems. And then that lets off the manager, or that lets off the director of football, or it lets off the people who are running the club, or whatever. It's a lot easier when there's a harmony. And sometimes you just have to play into that harmony. The back end of last season, we sort of made a conscious decision that we had to be positive, because it's our football, and as a fan base, we made that, didn't we? We're going to have to be positive here, because if we sit here and moan about this set of players and the manager or whoever else, then we're going to be in trouble, aren't we? But we went the other way as a fan base, didn't we? We did the bus welcomes. We did, fantastically organised by some of our fans. We did the flares, all the stuff. We bought into it because we had to be positive. And I think we're in the same boat now, just at a slightly lesser thing. Let's just get behind it. Because what are the advantages of being negative right now? We're 6 games in. There's teams doing worse than us that, we were told we're going to do better than us. He's not the first man sacked. He's not the second man sacked. Let's hope he's not sacked. And also, that's the other thing. The fella who runs the club won't get twitchy fingers if we're all backing him. If we're backing him, it will be impossible. If we're behind him as a fan base, Macheri will just stay out the way, as far as I'm concerned, and will not get involved. So I think that's our job at the moment. Listen, if we don't think we've played well, or we think a certain player is rubbish, or we don't think a sub was the right thing, that's fine. We can have a conversation about it. We can moan about it. But there's this thing, it's gone the other way of like, you can't say nothing. Of course we can say things. If we want to say someone should have played better, then that's fine. But at the moment, I think you're right. I think it's a case of getting behind the team, and let's hope it progresses, and let's get behind the team going forward.
Yeah, fingers crossed, eh?
There you go.
It does look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, hopefully it is, yeah. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it keeps going the right way.
There's right, Loz.
Thanks, Loz. Thanks for your call, mate.
Boys.
Cheers. See you later, mate.
Mate. Ta-ra, pal.
Bye, guys.
Ned, what are you whispering?
1-0 to Ajax.
Is that literally what you were telling us then?
That's you.
Okay.
Tom Blue says the fact there are no VAR refs from the UK going to the World Cup says it all about the standing of officiating in this country. Ex-pros 100% needed in the VAR room. Also says, hate the fella, but fair play to Michael Oliver. He actually has the bollocks to stick with his on-field decisions and not go with what VAR was telling him to do. Fair enough. Ozzy Dillon says, Chelsea will pay Graham Potter's £16 million release clause to take
of course they will.
From Brighton. Dick L says, I 100% agree with you guys. Frank is changing things for the better. The squad has players I like more than they have in years. His record is most likely to be 1 win in 11. You can't say that though, can you? You can't say that. So,
see, we've lost a bet there, haven't we? We genuinely thought Dick L was going to come on and say, I'm worried that Frank's going to go to Chelsea because his red mates in work told him that was what was happening. We've lost a bet there. You've turned the corner in your life, I think, Dick. I mean, you've gone round another corner where you wanted to be massively negative, but that's fine.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. Not much you can do with that, can you? You can't do. Steve K says, I'm sure us fans will give Frank time and patience, and let's not get carried away if we get a couple of good results as well. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's I understand people. Listen, I understand people get nervous because you're told, it's fed in your face by either social media or by Sky, whatever. But the reality is, we all say as fans we want to get someone in and let them build something, but what does that mean? Does that mean we'll give them time as long as we win every week? Or if you can see something being built, do you just go, let's give it time, let's stay calm? You know, we keep mentioning, we have mentioned or referenced Newcastle a couple of times, haven't we? Is that they had 1 win by Christmas. Eddie Howe coming, and the first 10 games, I don't think he won a game. He threw a lot and didn't win a game. And then the second half of the season, when they got into the run, they finished the season stronger than most teams. Yeah, they did. And now,
like top 3,
they're all right now. So we've got to be patient as well.
Is an interesting line coming out of Germany.
Go on.
Todd Bowley, fell out with Thomas Tuchel over Ronaldo.
He wanted Ronaldo.
Thomas Tuchel said that he would destroy the spirit in the dressing room, and that's what he fell over out of, apparently.
That's it. So the minute you do that to the owner and then you lose a game, you're on rocky ground, aren't you?
There you go.
Fair enough.
Fully Rocky 3.
Well, Tuchel was always going to have his say, wasn't he? Because
so Ronaldo got
Judas,
Ronaldo got him the sack. Interesting.
Without even going there.
Yeah.
That's a great move. It's a great move.
Well played, Ajax.
Great
right,
move.
we've got Gaz.
Yeah.
Gaz, are you there? And do you have a good connection? The answer is he's not there.
I'm here.
Oh.
I don't know what my connection's like.
Okay, go on. You're all right.
Go on, Gaz.
Go on.
I'm just walking through Manchester, so it might be a bit of ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say your point quickly then.
Go on.
Yeah, basically, Baz just touched on it a bit there. It's very important that we keep our faith because we're playing well and getting draws, and everyone seems to be behind the project. But my concern is a couple of results will go against us. 100%. We might get dicked by Arsenal. And what I don't want to see is the people come crawling out, get rid of the manager, all that starts again.
Yeah.
We're going to have bumps in the road.
Yeah.
It's a brand new team. A lot of them are young. And it's just stick with him.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. That's all you can do, isn't it? It's all you can do. Ultimately, you know, it's not, listen, we said in the summer, we're not, you know, after what happened last season, we're not the best team in the world. You've just got to let things play out. If you keep chopping and changing the manager, then what's going to, you know, I don't even know why people just, it's weird because Evertonians are like, oh, it's really, really good, but this or that, and it's just like, no, let's just stay away from that stuff. Let's just see what's ahead of us and hopefully watch your team improve and see what happens.
Go to match, enjoy it, see what it is. If you like what you're seeing on the pitch, which is the players giving everything it seems, and we're getting better players, if you like that, enjoy that, because we haven't always had that, have we?
No.
And that's the big thing, and try to stay, you know, try to stick with it. And we'll get our rewards. We can't. Where do we go if we sack Lampard?
Yeah.
now and we start again, do we?
There's
And it's
no
all
need, no need for it anyway.
You just can't. So let's just, let's just enjoy it, because it will. It's defo going to get better.
Yeah.
We know that if we'd have had the striker in the first few games, we'd have more points, and we haven't had one.
Simple as
So
that.
we've got to just stick with it.
You still there, Gaz?
100%.
Go on.
Yeah, but that's sensible people speaking.
I'm not. I'm not always sensible. I'm not always sensible, but
Yeah, not always, but yeah.
I know, but
the other
go on,
thing
Gaz,
is,
go on.
other fans are starting to see that we're not mental, because I've been talking in work, not won one in the first 5, saying how made up I am.
Yeah,
Miles better than last year when we were on 10, 11 points.
yeah.
And everyone's looking at me, but they actually watched us because it was the derby.
yeah.
And every one of them are now saying to me in work, you're all right. You look like you've got a good team. That Onana's good. That such and such is good. So people are actually seeing it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's it, and that's it, isn't it? First few games, and they're not on TV and stuff like that. People are, you look terrible. It's like, well, did you watch it? No, but you look terrible. That kind of thing, and then they'll see, probably did see against Chelsea, but it's not the exact team, and we get players injured, and Cody isn't in yet, and we've got 2 midfield, and it was early days, and now it almost feels like we've got a completely different team now since day one. Because the spine's different, and there's and people, hopefully the more people watch us will go, yeah, you're all right, yous, and also the media watches and go, actually these aren't a bad side yet. They just had a bit of bad luck, you know what I mean? And that takes the pressure off, and hopefully it'll mean time, and hopefully then we get our wins as well. That's an important thing. Obviously we've got to get wins, because that's the thing.
The name of the game.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I will shoot off, because it's just started absolutely peeing it down. So I'm going to shoot off.
Cheers, guys.
So I can put my hand in my pocket.
Do it.
I'll speak to you
See
later.
you later.
See you later. Just on the Tuchel thing as well. Apparently, another line coming out is that he didn't want Anthony Gordon, and it was Todd Bowley's data analyst who wanted him, and they were trying to force that through. So that's interesting. More wedges that were getting forced between them.
That's it, isn't it? That's the thing, isn't it? They're gonna come in, and they got rid of the Chelsea recruiting stuff and all that, so he'll have his own. And if they're doing the numbers, which is interesting, which is, and Anthony Gordon's showing up positively, then they're saying, well, let's get him. Well, that's literally how Chelsea have done stuff. So if Tuchel's not kicking back against that, then nothing else is going along on our data analyst to tell us he'll do this for our club, and Tuchel's saying I don't really want him. Then if you were the owner, you'd start looking and going, well, are you really the right man for us then, if you're not listening to what I'm saying? It's not great, because you don't want the owner involved, but if the owner's bought it and wants to start doing that and putting his own people in, then there you go. Then there was only one outcome then, wasn't there? If you look at it like that. So yeah, man, what happens? That is what happens, isn't it, in those situations? So yeah, not surprising then, really. And I think we'll probably hear a little bit more coming out of Germany as well once Tuchel continues to talk to other people. You'll get more. Oh, that's a shitter. I should have been 2 up. It's an absolute shitter. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're 40 off 63,000. We do appreciate it. Also hit the like button. We appreciate that as well. Kadeem says Kudus is looking good. Yeah, he's had some nice touches. There, linking the play. Where are we on the club call? Peter says, think you guys should cover penguin football and elephant football. It's more competitive than human football. Okay. Bainey says maybe VAR should bring Andy Townsend and the tactics truck back out the mothballs.
Maybe.
The tactics truck. Remember that? Wow.
Remember that
Wow.
match of the day at R7.
Oh my
Never
God.
felt right, did it?
No.
And yet it was a beautiful
It
beautiful
was
day.
a beautiful day,
No,
apparently.
it was like the Rooney era, wasn't it? So it
Mm.
was, something. No, it wasn't right. Didn't feel right.
No,
Didn't feel right.
not at all. Crazy Toffee says last 3 matches Everton have conceded 2 goals. Which is good. Mark McDonough says I feel like we have our team back, if that makes sense. Yeah, I understand that kind of thing where people are feeling like that. You should feel like that, really, because there has been a disconnect, and we haven't always been able to see. We haven't always been able to see what they're trying to do. It was almost felt at times like we were just plugging holes for the season without any forward thinking. So let's hope there's more Onanas and Patterson type signings, because that's what we need. Liam says, yeah, you have to give him time. It's almost a full rebuild. EFC Graham says, finishing mid-table, that's progress. Will involve losing games. So we have to stay calm when things aren't going our way and look long-term. And that's right, isn't it? It's right. Everton will lose games of football this season. And there might be some games where you lose poorly. You know, look at United at Brentford the other week. They were 4-0 down after half an hour.
Yeah.
And now they've won 4 games on the run, and people are going, they're going to get in the Champions League and all that.
Ned, I love the fact that you've put a social clip out for the podcast, and you must have picked the most negative conversations to put out.
What's he put
Nice
out?
one, Ned. Nice one, Ned.
What's he put out?
If Everton don't win games, the pressure will start building. I don't know. I don't think you know how this thing works.
No, he doesn't
Ned.
understand social media, does he?
I thought it was an interesting
Well,
No, it's not
though,
an
is it? 'Cause it's
interesting
just
con-
negative,
That was
isn't
just
it?
one little tiny bit
Just
of a
negative,
very positive.
It makes the whole thing seem
yeah,
negative.
take it down, please, Ned.
Which people won't watch because
Thanks, Ned.
people won't watch it because they'll think this podcast negative.
And it isn't. It's
Well done,
actually
Ned. Absolute
so
bellwith.
positive, that podcast.
Absolute
Why is Ned trying to ruin
I
the
don't know
channel?
why he's trying to
Still.
ruin the channel.
Still.
Absolute idiot.
Take it down, please, Ned. Thank you very much, son. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Kevin says Kudos is a bad egg or a bad actor. He messes about with agents and stops playing to force a move.
Don't care. He doesn't play for Everton. Not interested.
Yeah. Yes,
I'm
he's a nice little
I don't think he'll
footballer.
ever play for Everton either.
That's probably gone now, that thing, isn't it? But,
Classic
yeah.
Ned.
JJ Gaiman says this team after last season is a full rebuild. Lampard came in at a hard situation, and where we are now seeing the team build is amazing. Lampard's a brilliant manager, just needs the time, which he has. Claire says Ned at it again.
He's just,
Well said, Claire.
He's in it to destroy the channel. That's what he's there for. Honestly, it's like a double agent.
I thought it was an interesting.
It's not because
though.
it's negative.
It's one
Honest
bit
to God.
of an hour podcast that is
It's
really
negative.
positive.
Don't understand that. You don't get that. You're putting out social clips. You want people to watch it and listen to it, and you're putting out negativity, which means people will go, "Oh, this will be a negative podcast." This, and you're putting it out in with no context either.
Yeah, that's part of a conversation where we actually say everyone's really enjoying it. In fact, Andy Bush is like, "Oh, but Lampard's brilliant." You feel like
Hey,
I
little
feel like he
deflection,
gets us and all that.
Deserved.
So
Just hate the channel. Is that the one off? That's the one who is that? Is that thing you left Feyenoord? He's in the Feyenoord doc, isn't he?
Kevin says, who was it?
Yeah.
Stephen Berg was. Kevin Kraft says, Ned, we've just been talking about not buying into that nonsense
I know.
about Lampard, and that's what you put out.
But it is though. It says if we don't win games, the pressure will start building. It's negative. But wait,
Well,
who's
who's
it
it on
going to
then?
start building on then?
Oh, Ned.
You're an idiot.
Just delete the thing, please, mate. Thank you. Carla
Find
says
a positive clip.
there's a
or
million.
something funny.
There's a million positive clips in it, as well as the pasty story, which
Honest
is
to God.
amazing. Todd Bowley is just a machinery at a top 6 club, says Carla.
Big Ted.
Big Ted Bowley.
Have you seen just the thing today about the area of the docks, the central docks?
No.
Put in they've put in a request for to do it, and it's gonna looks amazing. So it's all gonna be like they want. Yeah, look, I'll show you the picture. So that's down further down by Costco.
Okay.
So that's what it's going to look like. So it's got like woodland in it. And it's like
So before our
so yeah.
ground.
So say you're coming from Costco, the dock area there. They want to make a park, and it's going to have like
the river through
and the
street,
canal
the
going
canal
through it.
On the way.
And it's going to look. Imagine that going to matching.
brilliant.
It looks amazing,
Yeah,
doesn't
that
it?
looks
So
amazing.
if you go on Twitter,
3-0.
oh, what a finish! Rangers are
Kudos,
getting
isn't it?
absolutely hard off
no,
here.
is it?
Rangers have gone full Ned.
Mohamed Kudus. with an
What a
absolute
finish
screamer.
that was! If you go on Liverpool Waters on Twitter or stuff, you'll see the plans they've got for it. And it's not. Listen, it's not about Everton, but it shows you what they're trying to do with the Dockland by the new ground, and it looks amazing.
There's some. Truth the Orifice says Ned doesn't understand society.
No.
James Boris says trust the process is overused, but it does apply here, Ned. Jason Davies says Ned is a red. Mark says can't believe Ned's even arguing with you about it.
I just seen the clip and I was like, why is you putting a negative clip out about a funny podcast?
Yeah, well, David Sullivan says the podcast was great. Looking forward to the next one, as long as Ned doesn't F it up. Mark says river taxi to the match. That sounds great.
Those looks nice, that though. Nice little, because that's important. Because if you're coming from like town to the ground, you want to be able to walk. Journeys are always shorter.
Yeah.
If there's things to look at, and if you're walking to a little park, or there's like, there's talk of like bars and things being down there, then it makes it so much better. And if you're walking from Moorfields or from James Street or whatever, if you're walking down there, if there's nice things on the way, it's going to make it so much quicker.
Well, exactly, because you're seeing different things and you're taking you don't think about the walking. They'll be talking about him joining Everton there, won't they? He's playing as a striker today as well, which is another reason why Everton kind of wanted him. Mark McDonough says our Tony reported on it, calling it Liverpool's Central Park. So interesting, isn't it? So that's good. Anything that continues to build that area up and make it even better, I think Everton will be delighted with that, and the people who are around there will be delighted with it as well.
Except Ned, of course.
Ned will be fuming with it. Well, Ned will put a tweet out.
He'll say that there's leaves everywhere, and someone needs to get a grip of this. The grass was wet. I nearly fell over.
It's a hazard.
It is a hazard. Yeah. Oh, I nearly fell in the water.
Oh, imagine the away fans waiting in there.
There's no McDonald's down there for me to go after the game.
Well, while the game's still on. Probably. So, yeah, there you go. Gray Lead says, Ned, the evil within. Also says, can you post the Central Docs info link, please?
Where do you want me to post it?
In the comments, probably.
I'll put the picture of it. Hang on, let me find the picture. And I'll put, this'll be nice.
Do it like that.
Ned will turn into a negative, though.
Yeah. Jason says, hi guys, just joined Premier. Keep up the great work. Jason Davies. Thank you very much, Jason. Much appreciated. Jason. Steve says, I hope Chelsea don't come in for Frank. Think he's doing a great job building up slowly. Great new sign. They're getting Graham Potter, aren't they? Let's be honest.
They're going full pot.
They're going full Harry, aren't they? So fair play to them. James Murphy on the podcast says, loving this one. It's nice to hear some familiar voices on the pod. See, not one negative comment. Ned finds the comment. It's because he's thinking about going to see the Range Lion or whatever he's going to see in a minute. He's getting all angry for some reason. I'm not sure.
Just don't put your hand in Cam's popcorn bucket. That's what I'm going to say.
Kev says, as Toffees, this is what we have to do. Don't buy into the negativity. We stay positive against the media, Sky and opposition fans. Fight propaganda. We look at our own club manager and players. Yes. David Sullivan says, evening lads, any chance of the club letting you do a special show from Bramley Moor, showing the progress they've made?
You mean from the Everton Stadium?
From the Everton Stadium. We'll see.
Well, everyone else seems to be going, so
we'll see, won't we? Yeah. There you go, yeah. Let's see. Tricky says Tuchel made his name off Klopp's team at Dortmund. Klopp built that team, Aubameyang, Royce, Mkhitaryan. Well, Tuchel was good at Mainz. He is a good manager. I don't think he made his name off Klopp. He is a good manager. But obviously, people have different things, don't they? And he's got different ways of doing it. And obviously, Bowley's got his own idea of how he owns the club or what he wants.
Big Ted.
You can't really You can't really have a go with him for it because he's paid the money, as much as it's frustrating or whatever. But like Ped said, if no Chelsea fans are fuming that he's being sacked, then maybe, you know...
Sounds like him and the manager don't get on.
No.
And it sounds like the players aren't that bothered because he's worked them too hard. And his anger has boiled over, hasn't it, in the last couple of months? He seems very frustrated by players not coming in that he wanted. And, you know, what happened with the Spurs thing highlighted it. And, you know, so maybe maybe it's just one of those things. Might be the best for everybody.
Maybe,
best for him, maybe, as well.
Definitely. Elliot says, hi, guys. Checking in from Seoul, South Korea. Love to see your channel and the insights. Great, guys. Keep it
mate.
up. Thank you, Elliot. Much appreciated. Thanks for taking the time. Tricky says, I'd love to see a fast train link to the ground similar to Dortmund. They moved 90,000 species efficiency after the game.
When you say a fast rail link, what do you mean?
Well, we've been on the train in Dortmund back to our hotel, haven't we? It was very efficient. The rail links.
The trains from Sandhills are quite efficient.
No, I'm not saying
they only have to go into the city
centre.
centre.
I'm just saying, having been to Dortmund and come out,
it's only from Sandhills. Don't forget as well, from Sandhills, you can get in. You're in town in one stop, 2 stops for Central. You can go to Kirby, go to Ormskirk, go to Southport, go to Hunt's Cross, go to Moorfields.
Merseyrail.
No, but you can go for more. The next stop takes you to Moorfields, where you can get a train that takes you to Lime Street for the National Rail. You know, I don't think it gets any more efficient than that if you think about it. Ormskirk, you can go to Preston. Kirby, you can go to Wigan, and from Wigan you can get on, literally go national. If you want to as well. If you need to go, if you want to go if the railway from Lime Street's not working, you can't. It is a pretty fast system, and I think what they'll do is Sandhills, they're apparently making a new thing for that as well, so that it can hold more trains. And if it's going to be like almost like what they do for Aintree, where they do like on when the National's on an Aintree, the 3 days, they put 6 cars on. So if it's Everton's game, 2 hours before the game, 2 hours after the game, if they put 6 car train units on that just go to town or whatever, or whatever, then you'll get people from the ground to Liverpool city centre in 5 minutes, and the trains will be probably every 10 minutes for an hour after the game. It'll be, I imagine they'll have a really, really good plan. And once you're in town, aren't you? You can go essentially anywhere from Sandhills.
Yeah.
There are the links then to places like towards like by ours, and you know, if you were going to get the same, you could get it from Waverley Tech, couldn't you? Yeah. So that's not the worst thing in the world. For Mars, I'd have to walk up
off there and then get it.
There's that side of things if you really want to do it, and you know, it's not the walk. And I was saying like this the other day. Mr. Drone does the videos for the drone videos. Obviously, he did a video over the weekend, and he walked from Sandhills to the ground, and he used the drone, and he had like him walking, but the drone as well, and it took him like he was talking to the camera. And imagine you're walking down, you're talking to someone, he was there in no time. Because you walk straight down, you'd be able to see the stadium. And then as soon as you get to the bottom of the road, which takes literally 3 minutes, you're turning left. You're there, aren't you? You're within the atmosphere. There'll be a pub. There'll be pubs and everything. Honestly, it'll be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Definitely. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Scott says they're signing Ober and then sacking Tuchel. Reminds me of selling Dean and sacking Rafa. Kev says nationalise the railway. You can have stops.
That'd help.
When the railway's private, it's only for profit. Jimmy says, my God, have you been on the rail out of the city?
Yeah, I mean, I used to work on them. They go to Sandhills quite regularly. Just because don't forget as well, if you're in the city centre, all 3 trains go through Sandhills. So that means there's a train every 5 minutes going to Sandhills. So there's a train leaving Sandhills every 5 minutes to go into town.
Okay.
So
good.
Every 5 minutes, a train is going to town.
Tricky says just a link line from the ground. The trains queue up, taking you back into Dortmund. It's free if you show your match ticket. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they need that kind of thing.
That's boss, that stuff.
But we've been there, and I would say the distance from that railway station to Dortmund Stadium is probably around the same, just a little bit less, I'd say, than what it is to Sandhills.
Okay. The Matty Bush says, I work on Vauxhall Road. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Everton's new stadium. Yeah. So there you go. It's not too far away, is it? It's gonna be. I mean, it is gonna be great when everything's built down there, isn't it? Yeah. David says, how long do you think it'll take Ned to fall into the water at Everton's new stadium? You say that. Benjamin says, my lunch break is over at work. See you guys. See you, Benjamin.
Bye,
He
Benjamin.
said he was surprised that Potter's going to go to Chelsea, but I think it's a big club, Ben's, isn't it? And he's going to feel like he can do the business there. There's a great chance for him, so we'll see. We'll see how he does there. If they let him get on with it, he could do well for them. It's whether they allow him the time that he needs to get on with it.
All right, it's a 5-minute walk from Signal and Nuna Park to the train station. I just wanted to check that out.
Yeah.
Who's spraying stuff?
Ned.
What are you
Of course he
spraying?
is. You know what he's
Hang
like.
on. So what are you spraying now?
Roll-on deodorant and a bit of Sauvage.
So what you're spraying is aftershave
Yeah.
in a confined room.
Yeah.
Sweaty.
Well, so go outside and spray it then.
I can't come in live.
So what?
Do you normally do the Al humpback whale
Not doing that, I'm sweating.
impression?
You're a disgrace, Ned.
Scott says Frank can now trust the squad to play 4 at the back and 3 in midfield. We may see an unlocking of this squad in an attacking sense, and we can now control matches. Well, that's the hope, isn't it? The hope is that the little bit more expansive we can be, because obviously the legs in midfield can cover. Then we might see it. We might see a better attacking unit, but it's still going to come down to people making sure they take the opportunities when they get them. Because let's be honest, we don't create loads and loads of opportunities. So when we get them, we have to. Right,
Did
we're
you
on
say
the
we've
final
got,
caller.
Did you say
Are
we
we?
got Everton? Go on, put Everton on.
Final caller of the show.
That's it. Everton, are you there? Now it's Paige bringing down the channel. Thanks, Paige.
Are we there?
Thanks, Paige.
Everton,
there yet?
are you there?
He's gone off the screen now. He's come back now.
Back.
Hello, Everton. Hello, mate. You okay? Go on, mate. Oh. Yeah. Go on, mate. Yeah, get your points across before we
good.
lose you on the internet.
It wasn't looking too good at all, but now I'm super optimistic, man. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of games before the World Cup. I believe that we have good strength in
Our internet is rubbish, innit?
Is it our internet or his internet? Oh, I think we've lost you. Oh, we've lost you. Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, Everton.
You get the gist of it. He said we had good strength in
Depth.
Yeah, we'll just say depth.
And he will have said, but we could have done with another forward.
Yeah.
Only.
Sorry, Everton.
It
mate.
is one of them days with the internet.
The internet, yeah. The weather is atrocious, and it's causing the internet to be all over the gaff. But then again, it might be at your end.
Who knows? Like
You know what it might be?
Go on.
That's spray. Ned's just
It
sprayed.
probably
I think
is.
it's destroyed the
Ruined it.
internet. It's probably rotted the internet away. Because it's rotting the inside of my nose away because it's so strong.
It's disgusting.
Jesus Christ. No wonder Johnny Depp buried something in the desert.
Brad says, in the concept renders of the new stadium, it looks like there's some kind of rail system to the right of that.
No.
Is that real or not
There's
feasible?
no rail.
No, it's no real.
There's no rail system down there.
Jake says, evening lads, love the call-ins. How nice would it be if we beat Arsenal this weekend? A lot of my Arsenal friends think they'll comfortably beat us. Well, they're going to go on how well they've been playing. They're going to look at us and go, these haven't won a game. And they're going to think, we normally whack these at the Emirates anyway. So that's why they're super confident. But sometimes that backfires, and let's hope it's on Sunday. Robert Martin says the team look much improved in the derby. How many points you think from the next 5? Arsenal, West Ham, Southampton, United, Spurs. My gut says 7. I don't know. I think we'll beat West Ham at home. I can see us beating United at home. Southampton away, tough, but get something there. Yeah, Arsenal away's a tough one. Spurs away, tough. Let's go. Let's be super confident and go 9. Let's go West Ham home win, Southampton away win, Man United home win, Arsenal, Spurs. Don't know. Yeah. Josh says, does Brighton succeed if Potter is gone? Ashworth's gone already as well. They are 2 big influences that will have walked out the door in a few months. We'll have to wait and see.
They'll have something set up, won't they?
Gray Lead says, walking from the city centre to the Pierhead down to the new stadium will be a brilliant little stroll, especially with some nice niche bars and food places along the way. And especially that one where what you put up as well, if that park comes off as well, which it should do. It should be great. Be great. Right, that's us. Make sure that you check out the very positive, despite Ned's efforts, 1878 FM podcast with myself, Andy Bush, and Comedy Dave Vitti. Check that out. It's good. It's positive. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. We're 35 away from 63,000, so we appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much. If you want to be a Toffee TV Premier member, the link is in the description and that QR code is on the screen. Thanks to everybody who has. And hit the like button on your way out. Thanks for watching us and joining us, and we will see you soon. Hello, Tony from Tennessee. Before we go, take it easy. See you later. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.